What do Ziploc bags have in common with Marie Kondo and a toilet flushing? If you've been pondering on the same philosophical question, stick around because in this video I'm going to answer that while I talk about everything you need to know for moving out of state. Because let's face it, if you landed on this video, you're going to need all the help you can get to be able to connect the dots between common kitchen items, a very organized Japanese lady, and fresh running water. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Anna Bolet with Momentum Realty here in Jacksonville, Florida. Moving cross country? Is this your first time? Well, don't fret. I've crisscrossed this fair land a bunch of times in a bunch of ways. I even drove from LA to Miami one summer in a 1969 VW Bug. No, I didn't make that drive in 1969. That was just the year the car was made. My dad restored it for me so I could take it back to college. I nicknamed that VW Millie after the Millennium Falcon. That car had no AC, but it had the most important piece of equipment you're ever going to need on a long car trip: a cassette tape deck. I only had 3 cassettes with me on that trip. I know you really want to know what I was jamming to as I crossed the desert. All right, watch out because this may actually endear me to you. I listened to Depeche Mode's Violator. That's also this summer. Pearl Jam came out with One. And of course, everybody's must-have, Bob Marley's Greatest Hits. So don't worry about a thing, because after reviewing these 7 tips for moving cross-country, every little thing is gonna be all right. See what I did there? I was born and raised in Florida, but I've lived in 4 states and 3 countries and moved more times than I care to count. Some moves have gone better than others, and I have made plenty of mistakes. So learn from my blunders and let's get to it. Here are 7 tips that will make your move way easier. Tip number 1, make a parts box and label it. This box will contain all your tools, Allen wrenches, screwdrivers, and anything that you use to disassemble your furniture that you will need to reassemble once you get here. The most important thing to reassemble is your bed, probably your office, right? Plastic Ziploc baggies and fat Sharpies are a complete lifesaver. Put all your screws and such in the baggies and label them. Tape the baggies to the inside of your box so that you don't lose anything. You like how I'm tying that in? This box is gonna be the last one to get loaded in the moving van, and it should be the first one to get unloaded. If you're driving though, I suggest that you put it in your vehicle. Another pro tip, number each box as you label and keep a journal of what's inside each box. I know, sounds OCD, right? Well, believe me, I am the furthest from OCD on the spectrum, but keeping a journal specifically for the move proved to be one of the most valuable steps I took to keep from getting things lost. The fact is that the journal is really small item and you can keep it in one place while your 50 or so boxes and all your belongings are going to get scattered about. It's really just an application of the second law of thermodynamics. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? Anyway, I found that once I got here, all I needed to do was to refer to my journal when I needed to locate an item. You don't have to write everything down, just a few things that are going to jog your memory about what's in each box. It will keep you organized throughout the turmoil and can prove to be very handy in the event of an insurance claim. You know what else can go in the parts box? Toilet paper. Towels are also a good idea, and maybe some cleaning supplies too. Tip number 2, plan your move as early as possible. Right now, as I'm filming this, it's January of 2020. I know you're jealous, right? You know, there's a big influx of people moving to the Sunshine State, and a lot of them are coming right here to Northeast Florida. I've even had some folks escaping South Florida. So the rumor is that if you're moving from New York or California, moving trucks are scarce. Plan as far in advance as you possibly can. I've added some good information below for MoveDay Movers. They're a great moving company that I like to work with, so check out their information in the notes below. While you're in planning mode, this is also a great opportunity to organize your stuff and introduce Marie Kondo into your life. She's even made it easy for you guys. She's got a Netflix special. I applied Marie Kondo on my last move after learning that moving companies charge by weight. I had a lot of stuff I accumulated throughout the years that I just dragged along with me from state to state, and the magic of tidying up helped me to downsize in a very big way. Tip number 3, vet your movers. I cannot emphasize this enough. I know that moving is stressful and movers can be a really high ticket item, but don't cut corners here. Did you know that not all moving companies do a background check on their workers? Everyone has a horror story, and I'm going to share a few of mine. The last move I made, I really wanted to save money, so I thought I was being a smart consumer when I asked for quotes from several different companies. This is a good thing to do because they're going to send someone out to kind of eyeball your stuff, and based on how much furniture you have and junk you have stuffed in your garage, you get a quote sometimes even on that same day. So my advice is that you pick 2 days and schedule as many as you can to come out so that you have all these quotes lined up. At the end of the day, I of course went with the cheapest. I mean, the guys I chose were a good 30% cheaper than all the rest of them. When I told the other companies why I did that, they implored me to read the fine print, which I did not. The day those movers arrived, they began to feverishly load their truck. I had given them explicit instructions not to touch the artwork that was still hanging on my walls because the art was going to be crated. I had paid extra money to have the moving company crate my artwork. Had I read the fine print, however, I would have known that the people who build the crates were a third party and they don't communicate with the movers, and they were late. So even when I told these guys to only move the boxes, they didn't listen and went about taping 2 pieces of wall art together with duct tape. Do you know what duct tape does to a painting? Yeah, the tape pulls off whatever it's adhered to. It would be an understatement to tell you that I had an epic tantrum as a result. Thank goodness for movers insurance. Don't skimp on movers insurance. In my case, the insurance I purchased was kind of cheap, and in the end, it covered the restoration of the damaged artwork. The other thing that happened was once we got to our destination, we had to wait more than 3 weeks for all of our stuff. Yeah, that's a long time. Why did this happen? Well, once again, I didn't read the fine print that said that they had to fill their truck before moving and delivering. So we lived out of suitcases for weeks. No furniture, no bed, no cups, no plates, no coffee maker. We finally gave in on week 2 and purchased a blow-up bed, which is not very comfortable when 2 people are in it. Not to mention that those things get cold on a tile floor. We ended up wasting a ton of money at Target on stuff we didn't need to buy, like sheets and towels, because it was being held hostage by the moving company. I was stinking mad, and once I read the reviews on the Better Business Bureau, I wanted to kick myself. Trying to save a buck cost me more money and heartache in the end. Tip number 4, temporary storage. There's a ton of storage facilities all about, and I wonder if that's another cool investment idea for a small business. But I digress. You've heard about pods. U-Haul has their version of pods as well. My brother used pods on their last move and simply sung their praises. They drop off their big old container, you load it up on your own schedule, and then they come and pick it up. Out of sight, out of mind. There's a pods facility here in Jacksonville, so if you're not ready to deliver all of your stuff right away, maybe you don't close on your house for a couple of weeks, they will store all of your belongings for you as long as you need. Tip number 5, make sure that you arrange for all of your utilities to be turned on before you arrive. How awful is it to arrive to a dark place where you can't plug in your coffee maker? Yeah. Or you have no running water. You know what's a perk about running water? I'm gonna tie this in. The toilet flushes. Yay. So make sure that you find out from your landlord or realtor which utility companies you need to contact to get these utilities put in your name prior to your arrival. Tip number 6, what to do if you're selling a house in one state and buying a house in another state. Well, you can make it so that you close on both homes on the same day, but that kind of only works when you're in the same place. Since you're doing this from out of state, you're going to want to stagger. So let's say you close on the house that you're selling out of state on a Tuesday. You're going to want to close on your home here in Florida on a Thursday. I had a closing last month that was delayed by a few days. That's through no fault of the seller or the buyer. It's just the environment that we're in. Look, the days of closing on a Monday at 9 a.m. and then hopping in your car and driving 6 hours to close on your next property are completely crazy. Those days are over. I mean, what if there's a thunderstorm? It's Florida. It rains here every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you miss your closing, that's just, you know what? I don't even want to talk about what can happen if you miss your closing. Just don't do it. So stagger your time. Check into a hotel. If you've got pets, there's an A-loft here in Jacksonville that will take you in and won't charge you extra for your pets. Maybe schedule for the moving truck to drop off your stuff later. The more you plan in advance, the more you factor in possible delays and snafus, the less stress there will be for you in the end. And tip number 7, have a yard sale before you move. Before. This is where Marie Kondo really kicked it in. When you begin to declutter, you will find that you have lots of stuff, lots of it. And lots of it you might not need, but could be of value for someone else. Put these items on the Nextdoor app or Facebook Marketplace. There's a number of helpful apps available for this. I probably made a couple $100 selling clothes and dishes and furniture this way. I vetted all my customers and I had them pay before they took anything away. Not only did I reduce the weight and volume of all the stuff I was moving cross country, which saved me a ton of money, I felt really good that the money that I did make went towards the move. Some things are just so heavy that it costs less to leave it behind and buy a new one for the new place. Or maybe you find you don't really need that sofa that you've had since college. Do you really need that pool table? What about that huge dining room table? The washer and dryer are pretty heavy too. You can always get a new set. It just felt so good not to have to pay for stuff to move. I was wanting to get rid of it anyway, so give yourself the gift of decluttering. Mindset is everything, and it will set the tone for this next move. So there you have it. There are my 7 tips for moving out of state with the least amount of stress possible. If you're coming to the Northeast Florida area and are wondering what it's like to live here, watch my next videos. I'm going to talk about what it's really like to be here in Jacksonville, Florida. Hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel so you get to learn all about what I love and what I hate about living in the 904.